At this point, it's been 12 years since I picked up a needle and thread and failed to do my own sewing in my mama's bathroom. I did not know how to sew. I did not know what I was doing, and I remember it was it was a mess, right? Um, I then tried it on my mom, got it to work, and just kept practicing and kept practicing and kept practicing. This was my summer going from 8th grade to 9th grade. I will never forget. Um, Even though I wasn't all that, baby, my work wasn't all that, it was, I mean, compared to now, right? I still was booked and busy, honey. Not only was I getting all the girls at school, not only was I booked for all the homecomings and the proms and holidays and things, people started bringing their parents. Like, I was doing parents, I was doing people at the store. Like, I was doing my little thing back then. And you know, eventually it just became what I have accomplished up until this point. And I know some people, like, when I get to talking like this, people are like, girl, you still young. I am young. I'm still very young, but in hair years, I got a ways to go. And one thing that, or I don't have a ways to go. I've come a long ways, right? Y'all know I have not been taking clients full time for the last 4 years. When I moved back to Vegas to do so, I experienced just like a string of unfortunate events that was just crazy to me. And literally, even though I touched down here in December, it wasn't until September that I honestly first got the opportunity to actually go all in and focus on what I came back down here to do. And to my surprise, this first month, I'm grateful for what I have done thus far. I am a little bit spoiled. I am used to something, I'm used to something different, but it just did not give what I thought it was going to give. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I have gotten a few new clients, but I'm just, what I'm saying, y'all. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is to say, like, I just started getting on this app called Threads that Instagram has created. And, a lot of people, you have a lot of people who are literally just graduating hair school, just fresh out, fresh estheticians, fresh brow girls. And you have some seasoned beauty professionals on there as well. But there's a common conversation between people who are experienced in the industry wanting to quit, and then you have a lot of people who are brand new in the industry feeling very lost and feeling confused, and they're just not starting off on the best foot. And honestly, while I want to give my advice and, oh, well, this is what I did, this is what I did, I have throughout this month, and it's only been a month, but I will say, I can acknowledge that the beauty industry has changed so much from when I started. I feel like when I started doing hair, it was kind of like on the cusp between transitioning from the old school to the new school. One of my first salons, first of all, I was always the youngest person in the salons I worked at. It wasn't really normal for me to see people as young as me. I'm gonna be honest. Online and in real life, I always was the youngest stylist. I always grew up under hairstylists that was like 20 years in at that point. They was truly older school hairstylists. That's where I learned a lot. But I remember being one of the only people, if not the only person in the salon who would take the Instagram serious. Like, the majority of my bookings was off Instagram. And it would be Easy. I mean, what do you mean? My phone was going crazy all day, every day off Instagram hashtags. Like, it wasn't no waiting around. Like, I mean, you might have had your periods, because I definitely remember Miss Raquel. Hey, Miss Raquel, if you're watching this, I remember they used to tell me, like, it was an Audi next door to the salon. I do remember, like, they'd be like, oh, well, go pass out your cards. And, I would definitely hit the streets. It was a Publix down the street over there on Lawrenceville. I don't know if that's Lawrenceville Swanee or Lawrenceville Highway. I don't remember what it was, but I would hit my little pass my cards and stuff too. It would be a few periods of downtime, but once I started like mastering it, it just started rolling in. And I remember it used to be I remember, like, I was so serious about my Instagram that I remember I actually there was, I didn't like Miss Raquel, I love you, but you already know this story. I'm just keeping it real because she be watching my stuff. I didn't like how she painted the salon, right? It was like a mustard yellow color on the wall, but it was like sponge, so it was texture. And then she had these red chairs, and I didn't feel like it went with my Instagram aesthetic, baby. This was me literally in like 2016, 2015, like thinking this way. I remember I went to Joann's Fabrics and bought a piece of fabric, and I would tack it to the wall of the salon just to take my pictures in front of it. Because I didn't like the picture. I didn't like how my pictures was coming out. I was so serious about social media. So to go from that place to where that was a choice for me, like I was just social media savvy, I was young, to now seeing this era where it's almost like you don't literally need social media to thrive, but it has become baked into the beauty business. And not only that, but it's become, the social sites have completely changed the way they do stuff. When I first started on Instagram in 2011, you did not have to use ads. They didn't even have ads. They didn't even have videos. It was just pictures. As social media has evolved, it has become incredibly more demanding. It's almost like if you're not able, I feel like in this day and age, if you're not able to come out with a big marketing budget, as though, see, it used to be very unconventional. Like you could do the bare minimum and make a lot. Now it's like kind of moving back towards that old school marketing, to where you gotta come out swinging. You gotta have real campaigns. You need to have your ads. Is you getting spokespeople and Instagrammers and celebrities, and it's like, I don't know, it's like it's just not the same. It's not the same. And I could see how intimidating that could be for a younger beauty professional, because like when I was starting, it was standard, if you go to school, come out, go to Great Clips or Walmart Smart Cuts, wherever, work there, go work for a commission salon, go do this, whatever. That was still kind of the mindset. I feel like now it's like, come out of beauty school, go to a salon suite, get an Instagram. Like that's kind of like people going straight to the deep end. That was not normal. Like people was looking at me like I was crazy when I got my little salon suite out of high school. Like, girl, what you doing? But this is the norm. People, oh, I'm a 20-year-old this, I'm a 20-year-old that. It's like, okay, that era has passed. There's so many other 20-year-olds just like you that it's like it don't have the same effect in marketing. And I think, this, I believe this whole independent solo, a lot of people are not making good money solo. A lot of people making less money solo than they was working on commission somewhere. For the people who a little bit more seasoned, they like 3 years in, 4 or 5 years in, a lot of people is making less working for themselves. And then the people coming right out trying to work for themselves, you just going straight into the negatives. And I feel that I think the salon suite industry is gonna crash. I do. I think it's gonna crash bad. In fact, I've seen people with my own eyes, who I know open salon suites in the last year. They closed already. Like, I think you're gonna see more of that. I feel like the big dogs will stay. Sola, I think they're gonna. What's the other one in Georgia I really like? I forgot the one in Georgia, but even Salon Lofts, like I think the big successful ones I think they'll be okay. But I think all these little pop-ups, I don't think they're gonna last. First of all, they're ugly. A lot of these people build these salon suites out so ugly. It's like they build them without the beauty professional in mind. I'm not against people who aren't in the industry getting into it, but I just think if you're gonna build something, you should consult some beauty professionals or consult people who are already done what you've done to get a good insight. Like, I feel like that's what's going to keep Sola and My Salon Suite and these bigger franchises afloat, is they actually put the money into their suites. They're not cheap. You know, they don't got no open ceilings. The decor is pretty. The furniture is good. The floor is good. They got windows. Like, it looks better. These things these people be putting together is so tacky. But you know, not only that, but I think with the barrier of entry to not necessarily get into the beauty industry, but to see like returns, I used to put out an Instagram post back in the day. It'll have like 100 likes, and this is with 4,000 followers. I'm gonna have 100 likes in like 2 minutes. You know, it don't work that way no more. It's like, if you're not already a large account, it's not as easy. And you know, I think to see a return takes so much more effort and so much more energy today, because, you know, it's always been a saturated industry. But at this point, y'all, the beauty industry really is saturated. I don't think that means anything, because at the end of the day, it's really a personality thing, and you're not going to get along with everybody. Your clients aren't going to like, you know, everybody's not going to like you. So there will always be room to grow in the industry. But I am saying, you know, let's look at the lashes. Everybody do lashes. It's like, okay, everybody do microblading. Okay, but you know what's hard? Why is it so hard to find somebody who do a good brow wax and do them how I like them? Like, it's so hard to find good brow waxers. It's so hard to find people who actually know how to do a relaxer. It's so hard to find people who actually good at natural nails. Like, you got these very overlooked corners and markets in the industry that don't nobody pay attention to. But everybody else, like, you know, y'all know I've been in the healthy hair kind of focus thing with the weaves for a long time. You know, now everybody doing that same thing. It's like people live in a think tank. Like, everything everybody has to be doing at the same time. And then everybody wonder why, you know, it's slower, it's harder to book. It's a bazillion people doing the same thing. But you got all these overlooked markets and niches. It's a bazillion lash techs who do the same old lashes. It's a bazillion this, it's a bazillion that, it's a bazillion people doing the same ugly wavy braids, everybody doing them same braids. It's like everything always has to be the same with social media. And I think that, said all this to say, I think moving forward in the industry, I don't think the salon suite thing is going to last, because times are harder and it's going to require more teamwork. It's going to require more development. Like, you're gonna have to really develop yourself. You cannot be mediocre or average in this game if you want to excel and thrive, because there's so many more options. Another thing is, you know, I think with the economy shifting, you know, there's always going to be people who can afford to pay premium prices for services, but also, you know, you have a growing lower class, you know, but a lot of people going from middle class to lower class, and that's like the masses of people. A lot of the people not gonna be able to afford the services, and you trying to be in a salon suite every month and your overhead is already like $2,500 total for all your business expenses. You can only take so many people in a day. You can only take so many people in a week, you know, so your bottom line is higher. Your price is gonna have to be a little bit higher if you want to even make a profit. But, you know, maybe you can't get the type of clientele that's going to pay your high prices, so you might suffer, you know, versus if you was in a traditional salon, but more like of a with a pay structure where people was actually employed to the salon, where there was a teamwork kind of thing going on, and y'all could share the workload and reduce the price at the same time and take more people to offset. You know, I just think the future of the beauty industry is going back to a more traditional salon model, but just more a new school kind of version of that. And yeah, because it's getting hard out here. Even being a single person living by yourself is harder. What make you think being an independent stylist not gonna have the same thing? Being independent, being on your own in these days is just not what it used to be. And I think that's gonna cause a major shift within the beauty industry. Because it has really sucked the fun out. The cost of doing business, rising. I feel like it's sucked a lot of the fun out. The cost of, the demands they put on you, like as far as having to rely on social media or feeling like you got to rely on social media to build, which you don't. There are other options. I talk about my new YouTube channel, but still, like, having to spend more time marketing, more time, and your clients' attention spans is so short. It's like, even if you got clients, they seeing something else on Instagram tomorrow, you got to stay on it. It's a lot. But y'all let me know what y'all think down below.